$1 million to me when I was 20 years old, I thought, I wonder if I'll make $1 million in my whole life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like $1 million to me now is like, I don't want to I don't want to sound like a jerk or nothing, but it's not that much money.
Right.
It is a lot of money, but like in today's money, it's not that much money, right?
Yeah.
And when you get to the point where you're moving certain things, like you're not doing $65,000 condos now. Now it's $3.5 million beach houses. $1 million doesn't become $1 million anymore. Now it's like, what's $100 million look like?
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Hustle Up podcast. My name is Clint.
And I'm Jonathan.
And today we have the pleasure of sitting down with Mr. Chris Lowe, a.k.a. Agent Payne.
That's right.
Non-attorney spokesperson for the Lowe Law Firm and Lowe Law Group.
NFT collector.
Lowe Law Firm.
NFT collector.
That's
right.
collector.
Tech investor.
He
That's right.
drives exotic cars. He flies private jets. He embodies all the things that we want. You are the man. Dude, how did you do what you have done? What's your story? What's your background?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say I didn't do any of it by myself. There's a lot of people that helped me along the way, and I don't really see myself as that guy. First and foremost, I'm still Chris. Hope to think that I'm a very approachable, nice guy, just like I've always been. Very briefly, I started out after college. I was going to be I was a college athlete, and I wanted to play professional baseball. Hurt my shoulder. That didn't happen. Never made that happen. So I went into finance, worked at E-Trade, got my Series 7 and my 63. E-Trade is a very large company. Wasn't a whole lot of room for movement, up the ladder there. So I was basically trading stocks for guys. Not like I wasn't intelligently picking stocks, right? If you called me, you could call and yell at me and say, I need you to buy me 15,000 shares or whatever.
Yeah.
And I would just type it in, and that would be that. I wasn't making my way as a stockbroker. I wanted to be a stockbroker, based on the movie Boiler Room. Is that even in y'all's wheelhouse? Anybody here?
It was the OG Wolf of Wall Street, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
When did it come out?
Dude, I don't know, 30 years ago.
Oh, shit,
Who knows?
yeah.
Look it up. That's old school stuff. But that was what made me want to go into finance. The guys drove a Ferrari, and he had stacks of money, and they had a good time everywhere they went. And it was like they wore nice suits, and they had nice watches. They had the sick houses, but it was all kind of like a shell. But that was not what I was doing. So I was in Atlanta, which is not New York, obviously, and I was not on the stock exchange, but I was working from a cubicle about half the size of this desk, taking 200 or 300 phone calls a day.
How old are you right now?
How old am I right now?
At that point.
22,
Okay.
maybe.
So young cat. College graduated?
Yeah, college graduate, had just moved to Atlanta. In fact, I moved to Atlanta to take the job at E-Trade. Anyway, one of my supervisors was named Pete. Pete was a cool dude. He played guitar. We would watch movies and stuff during lunch. Pete left E-Trade to go to another company, and he invited me to go with him. If you guys look up the stock ticker, it's called ICE, the Intercontinental Exchange.
That's a big one, yep.
Look it up. They own everything. The New York NYMEX, New York Stock Exchange, the Intercontinental Exchange. I was one of the first 10 employees there. Was working with the guys like Jeff Sprecher, Chuck Weiss, Edwin Marcial.
Big time investors?
No, these are that's the president of ICE. That's
Okay.
the vice president of ICE, and that's the guy that wrote the code for ICE.
Wow.
Which is the GUI that they traded billions and billions of dollars on. A tiny, tiny, tiny speck on their radar, but I was there working on the help desk.
Real quick, I want to keep going through your story. How'd you get in position to be there? What made him be this guy is going to be a first 10 employee?
So I can never be the smartest person, but I'll probably outwork most people. I'll put the time in. I'm on time. I took a lot of pride in, this is 20 something years ago, actually 22 years ago. Working now is not like then, right? There's a completely different mindset, in my opinion, of what young people do when they're 22 years old versus what young people did when I was 22 years old, right? I grew up going corporate. That's how you're successful. You have to take a job and you have to work your way up from ground zero to the top floor or the corner office, right? It's not like that now. You could be a tech genius, or you could have your own company, or you could invent something, or you could be a YouTuber, or what have you. There's a million ways to make it now. Back then, for me, I didn't have the vision like young people have now. I couldn't see past, okay, I'm not going to play baseball. I got to get a job. Right.
Yeah.
So that was it. It was, I got to get up, I got to grind, I got to be the first person there, the last person to leave. I've got to be the top producer, and that's what I did. I went to work, and when I went to work, I took pride in what I did. So I was always the top producer in my little pod or what have you. So Pete took notice of that, and he and I worked together, and he kind of took me under his arm. And like I said, we spent a lot of time watching movies and just talking about finances and stuff.
Built a real relationship.
Yeah, he was like my friend,
Yeah.
He was my supervisor, but also my friend. So
Yeah.
when he left, he basically said, hey, I've got an opportunity. I'd love you to go with me if you want to go. So I was like, see ya. I just passed my Series 7 and 63, which are, very hard tests. You spend a lot of time working, studying. Most people fail it once or twice. I somehow got by the first time around.
There you go.
I passed the first one and Series 7 and passed my 63, and very shortly thereafter I left and never used it.
Wow.
So very strangely, but then I went to ICE, and I got to be around. I didn't realize who I was around at the time. Obviously, I was still a young guy, but I'd be in the kitchen with Jeff Sprecher. Look up Jeff Sprecher if you want to do this.
He's the VP?
No, he's the president of
wow,
ICE.
yeah.
This was 20-something years ago.
So you were surrounded by a strong network very early on.
Yes, but they weren't my network. I just happened to be around these guys.
Yeah, but they knew you.
Were you absorbing any of that? Were you getting mentorship from them?
No, I wasn't that smart. When they would come in, I would just sit there and look at them. He would come into the kitchen and be like, I'd be eating a bagel. Right?
Yeah.
And he would be like, man, I'm glad you work for me. I'm glad you're not against me. I'm like, I don't understand what you mean. Because, back then I was like 6'2". I weighed about 210. I was working out. I was a big guy, right? And, he was just kind of like just making small talk with me. And, if you look him up now, you'd be impressed. Like, I used to hang out in the kitchen with this guy, or Chuck Weiss. I played softball with Edwin.
And you didn't know who he was?
Well, I knew who he was. It didn't matter to me at the time.
Yeah.
Right? I wasn't thinking like a 45-year-old
How do I
guy.
use this as a chess piece?
I didn't think that it would ever be
Yeah.
beneficial to me, because I didn't think they'd ever they're not going to call me in 5 years and hang out with me, right?
Right.
I didn't see that as a place. I wasn't smart enough to look at this and be like, God, I should be using these guys. It was more of, I need to stay out of their way, right? I don't want them to fire me. I don't want to get in their way. I'm just here to do my job. I want to keep my job. This is a good company. So no, I wasn't. Although I did play softball with Edwin, I was a very good softball player. So obviously, a college baseball player. So anyway, I spent a few years there and ended up getting fired from that job one day. I got fired, and the next thing I knew, I was trying to figure out how I was going to pay my mortgage. So I picked up the paper, and I called my dad. I was like, what do I do? He's like, you got to get a sales job. I was like, sales job? What do I know about sales jobs? I've been behind a phone and a computer. So anyway, I picked up a newspaper and went sales, and first thing I did was call a mortgage company. So then I was in mortgages.
Wow.
So for mortgages, I did mortgages for 5 or 6 years, had a mortgage company. Went through a marriage, got divorced, kind of fell on my butt. It was in a really bad place, and my dad asked me if I would be interested in going into business with him doing something.
Your dad?
My dad.
Yeah.
So he had already worked forever as an insurance. He was a VP of a little insurance company in Chattanooga, hard worker, great provider for our family. We weren't rich, we weren't poor. I went to private school. We were very middle class, but my dad worked hard every day of his life. My mom was a homemaker. And she was the best homemaker, by the way.
Hell Shout out Agent
Shout
Bates'
out
mom.
to my mom, right. So anyway, he was like, hey, you know what? I know you're down. How about we do something together? I said, great. What are we going to do? He said, I don't know. I'll come back to you with an idea. And he called me up one day and he said, do you think you could run a dry cleaning company? I was like, huh? A dry cleaning company? Because that was mostly not like what I would normally be doing.
Right.
I was like, dry cleaning company? I was like, well, I spend a lot of money on dry cleaning. Maybe I could figure that out. So I packed up my car and I went to Maryland and I went to dry cleaning school.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was 2 months. I think it was 2 months. So I passed the basic dry cleaning systems and then advanced dry cleaning. That was back in 2008.
Wow.
Came back from that, bought a dry cleaning company in Forsyth County, Georgia. Cumming, shout out to all the people that are my clients at Chris Cleaners and Clothes Spa.
Let's go.
Bought a little company that was going out of business, basically doing $100,000 a year, just a self-run little spot. His name was Philip. Still talk to Philip every now and then. Really nice guy. But he didn't have a mind for marketing and sales. He was really good at dry cleaning clothes. Mm-hmm. So bought that dry cleaner and showed up. One of the funny things about dry cleaning is it's very hot at the dry cleaner.
Like
so I showed up
temperature wise.
like 110
Yeah.
degrees, like everything in there runs on steam. So I showed up the first day like wearing a suit, right? Like I wore a suit.
Dressed to impress.
Just like, and I walked in the door and it was like, just dry. I sweated right through the suit within like
no.
5 minutes, right? It's like, all right, that's the last time I'm wearing a suit. And it's kind of funny. I went to go greet my first customer at the door, right? They would drop off their clothes. And I opened the door and they went, "Who the hell are you? Where's Philip?" I was like, man, this is not what I was hoping for. you know?
Shoot.
And I got that because people are so used to like seeing the same guy over and over again at the door. They don't like change. People don't like to change.
Yeah.
Especially their clothes. Like they don't want somebody else taking care of their clothes. So I learned that pretty quick. But I spent 8 years doing that. Grew it from a $100,000 a year business to about a $700,000 a year business, which was pretty cool. I started a route that went all over the county of Forsyth. We won multiple awards. Best dry cleaner several times. So I had a great time there doing it. It was a very hard job, 14 hours a day sometimes.
And you're handling the business, the logistics, as well as
everything.
The technical dry cleaning, like how to hang the shirt or whatever.
Yeah, pressing. Well, I mean, I wasn't the shirt presser, but if somebody didn't show up for work, guess what I was doing?
Yeah,
Was there any portion of the business that you did not do in that early stage?
That's a good question.
Everything.
You learned it all.
I learned it all.
Clean the bathrooms.
Dude, I was the janitor. If you brought in your dirty underwear, I would steam them out and clean them for you. Your socks, anything you.
Is that still on the table?
No, I do not do that. I don't move. I don't help people move anymore, and I don't do laundry.
There you go.
Those are two of the things. But look, I was kind of doing my own little like version of pins, right? Like I had like kind of like stuck myself in a hole, and I was grinding my way out of it.
Yeah,
so
sure.
I did that for 8 years. I learned a lot about myself. I worked with my dad. It was very family oriented, back to family basics. I'd gotten away from that a little bit during my 20s or whatever. And
That's important to come back to that.
yeah, so we did that for 8 years. And like in 2014, I met my current wife, attorney Milo.
What was your exit from the dry cleaning?
We just sold it one day because my wife was like, "You're wasting your time."
Okay.
She's like, she got to the point where she's like, "You're not doing this anymore."
Oh, this was after you met your wife?
Yeah, I met
Okay.
her in 2014. So she and I got together, and she was obviously already a very successful attorney, and I was running this dry cleaner. The profit margins aren't great when you're like, we're running a dry cleaner. You have to be either huge or tiny to make a lot of money. So I was just kind of in between, and while it continued to grow, she just was like, "You're wasting your time. Like, sell the dry cleaner."
She opened your eyes.
Yeah, she was like, "You could be doing so much more with your life if you just get out of the dry cleaner."
Yeah,
So-
just a real tangent real quick. We were talking about this with someone the other day, and people get so focused on working in their business that they or get so caught up of being the character in their movie because they're digging themselves in a hole and climbing back out every day that they never take a break to sit back and watch the movie and analyze, is this the best use of my time?
Right.
Is this the best use of my resources?
This is a constant conversation as business owners, as partners. We find this a lot of times. You will end up building a prison for yourself,
Exactly.
or a job for yourself, instead of a business, a lucrative business, and that's not why anybody goes into it.
Right. No, and don't get me wrong, there's a lot of money in dry cleaning, but
There's a lot of amazing things about entrepreneurship.
yes.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed like the people aspect. Like I loved my customers. Like
Yeah.
they all knew me by name. After 8 years, if I went out to eat somewhere in Cumming, I couldn't go to a restaurant without seeing one of my clients. Hey, there's Chris from Chris Cleaner. They thought my name was Chris Cleaner, but it was Chris Lowe.
But it's just like college. You go, you get what you need, and then you move on. It's not no one wants to stay a freshman in college forever.
Well, no, I had like much of my life. My wife says I'm a fiery dragon.
A furry dragon?
Fiery.
Oh.
Furry. And I'm a dreamer, right? Like, so all my ideas are either really, they're irrational, but they're huge, right?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I could do this, but I don't know if I can, and maybe I don't execute. But I had an idea in 2012 or 13 or whatever for Go Dry Cleaner.
For what?
Go Dry Cleaner.
Go dry cleaner?
Go Dry Cleaner was going to be a national application for dry cleaning.
Like a mobile, like we'll come pick your clothes up.
Well, they have it now.
Yeah.
But it was my idea first. I know people probably don't believe that, but it was. There was nobody doing it. Like dry cleaning was dry cleaner on the corner. They owned the corner shop. It was, there's several families that owned a bunch of dry cleaners, but it's very localized. right? The same
Yeah.
people buy the dry cleaners. They buy the dry cleaner, build it up, sell it. Buy the dry cleaner, build it up, sell it. There's no network of dry cleaning, right? So I had an app. I still have the sketch of it. You'd be proud of me. And it was like it was like a little Go symbol, and it was supposed to. And what it was is that you were going to have an account with Go Dry Cleaner. I was going to go across the country and set up Go Dry Cleaners, right? And I was going to meet with dry cleaners, local dry cleaners that needed business, and they were going to rep my Go Dry Cleaning business. If you had an account in Atlanta, let's say Clint or Jonathan, you guys had an account for Go Dry Cleaner, and you went to California for a month, you didn't find a dry cleaner on the corner. You open up your Go Dry Cleaner app, you push the button, and they come to you, get your clothes, and it's paid through your dry cleaner
And
app.
they come and drop it off. It's,
Yep.
it's Uber of dry cleaning.
It's Uber Dry
Yeah.
Cleaning.
Yeah.
But this was before any of this stuff.
Before the app boom.
And I couldn't figure out how to do it. Like I didn't have the chops to like technically write the code.
Who have you teamed up with to fill that execution role? If you're mainly filling a visionary role or dreaming big and coming up with ideas, have you engaged in any of those relationships before?
No, because when I hit a roadblock, I talked to the only person I knew back then that could possibly write the code, and he kind of hit a roadblock, and it just kind of like died.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like, the idea just died because my wife was like, "Sell a dry cleaner, get out of it." So we
Yeah.
sold it, and then we transitioned. So we had started working in real estate. My wife and I, our hobby is real estate. We started flipping properties. We started buying condos. She and I worked 7 days a week, flipping condos, doing everything from laying tile to cleaning, painting, whatever.
Did you have kids at this point?
No.
Is she still an attorney at this point?
Yes.
Okay.
How long had you been dating before you got married?
Not long. We were dating for a little over a year. So we dated 2014 into 2015.
You met her 2014, got married
13.
or engaged
We got married in
2015?
7/7/14 is when we got married. 7 years this year. We were dating a little over a year before that.
Cool.
So maybe we met in 2013 or whatever. So as soon as I met her, we started working in real estate
And
together. as a
immediately
hobby.
power couple. She's an attorney. You're an
Yeah.
entrepreneur. You start investing in real estate.
Immediately.
Yeah.
We started flipping little bitty condos, like buy it for 65, put 25 in it, sell it for $150.
Yeah.
And then we just continued to do that over and over and over and over again. So,
That's sick.
I mean, that's how you get started. But that's the execution piece, right? Like there's nothing technical about it. My wife has a great eye for design and ideas, and I am a finisher, right? Like I'm not the smartest guy, I'm not the tech guy, but I can finish.
You could close.
Complete
I
the
can
mission.
finish it, right.
Land the plane.
Is the guy that comes in that has to do the worst part, like the finishing job? If you know anything in construction,
Yeah.
A lot of times construction happens. They do the big bulk of it. The contractor comes in, does the big bulk of it, and then they disappear for the last 2%.
It's the little things that wrap up the job that matter the most.
Exactly. So, I'm good at that. So my wife is the visionary behind like what our designs look like, what we're going to do here, what we're going to do there. And then I execute, make sure it gets done on time.
Everything you're saying is the epitome. This is very cool. I'm curious, what's been like the worst struggle of your entrepreneurial journey or something that you've had to overcome?
Oh God, man, too many things, man. I've made a ton of bad decisions, and there's just been like up until I was 22 years old or whatever. Like people say I was lucky, right? Like a bag of money would fall and hit me on the head or what have you. And then I went through a dark phase for several years through depression and among other things during.
How many years?
I don't know. It was probably like 7 or 8.
Wow.
Believe it or not, it wasn't like full on like I have to sit on the couch, but it was hard to just a lot of stuff going on, right? So I've overcome a lot of those things over time, but like mostly my organizational skills aren't great, so I have a problem with that. But
Do you outsource that now?
no, I'm still involved in it.
Yeah.
Most of my stuff just comes from being stressed out, right? If you have people don't show up to do stuff, I get a little overly stressed.
Sometimes the best way to do it is do it yourself.
Yeah, but again, you find yourself doing $15 an hour jobs.
Only do the things that only you can do. So what do you do when you find yourself in those situations now? And I get that it's always a process and you're probably still learning and growing, but
Yeah, well, we've got more of a team now, obviously. So I've got I have 2 or 3 guys that work for me full time, and now I have people that I can call for stuff if I need something done. But I still find myself doing a lot of the like I'm going to Florida tomorrow to finish up a job because it didn't work out with our project manager.
And
So I'll be
somebody
staging
has to get it done.
I'll be staging a house this week.
Yeah.
Right? Which is just hanging photos on the wall, putting beds, putting furniture together, making sure it looks really pretty, and then taking photos. So
You made a comment earlier that you are not an executor, but you are a finisher. And I would say that blends the two. The guy that can complete the mission is the guy that finishes the job, the guy that executes. I think
I don't think I'm not the technical guy, I guess is what I meant
Sure.
to say.
Yeah.
I'm good at finishing stuff. Like if somebody hits a wall, I can usually bust through the wall and fix whatever's on the other side of it.
And that reminds me, and I think that's where low law came from, which I want you to talk about how you're not attorney, but you own a law firm.
How we became Agent Payne.
Yeah, but the thing I want to point out is that it's cool for any technology junkies like me that are listening. What you did is you found a Steve Woz to your Steve Jobs. Steve Woz was the guy who invented the computer. Mm-hmm. Steve Jobs went into his house and said, "This is amazing. We should make this a product, make a company, and sell it." And so you typically have your what they call in like EOS entrepreneur operating system is you have a visionary and you have an integrator, or you have an executor and like an idealist, or a marketer and a technologist. And I think that you've always been good at finding something else we talk about is just playing to what you're good at. Play to what you're good at and build the right team. And Steve Jobs is like the flagship kind of dichotomy of that, if that makes sense.
No, 100%. And one thing my wife says I'm good at marketing. I don't really call it marketing. I don't sit down and draw like sketches and, decide what an ad's going to look like. I mean, I do, but that's not like my expertise.
Right.
I'm mostly the best if you put me in a room full of strangers and I just have a chance to like chit chat with people. Right.
Yeah.
That's really where I tend to shine. I'm not trying to pat myself on the back. I'm just saying, like, if you had to give me a skill set, I think it's my ability to connect with anyone. If you're a billionaire or if you sweep the floors, and I treat everybody the same. It doesn't matter to me what you do. I hang out with
Facts.
I hang out with people at all levels of society, all colors, all races, all creeds, all genders, all whatever. So it doesn't matter to me. I don't care. That was a little ahead of my time, 20 years ago. To always treat people, it was sad to say, but people weren't always treated fairly. You guys are young guys. Maybe you have dealt with that, maybe you haven't. But 20 years ago, life was different. Mm-hmm. It's better now for everyone, I think, and we're moving towards the right ways. But 20 years ago, you probably didn't hang out with the people on the bottom level if you were on the top level, right? You kind of hung out with just the people on the top level.
Maybe I was 3. No, I was 8.
Yeah, you guys are young, so But
I think the internet has opened up a lot of information, and because it's out there, you could kind of see who you want to be and who you don't want to be, and like especially him and I, like we read a lot of books and listen to a lot of podcasts, and it helps like.
When do you do that? Because I know you work like a lot. So when do you guys have time to sit around and listen to the podcast?
Audiobooks in the car.
Audiobooks in the car. And we also drive a lot, fly a lot. There are enough opportunities to occupy the time through audio content. And then also sometimes I just take some time for silence. I appreciate silence as well.
There's a lot to be said for that. Ironically enough, I'm 44. I've never sat around and meditated. I've never really done anything like that. Recently, I told him, mostly because of him and Katie, I started taking every morning. I have a quiet meditation now for what's supposed to be 10 minutes, but it usually drags out to 30.
It's huge. It's awesome for mindset.
One good, powerful breathe in and breathe out in 5 seconds could be more powerful than a 10-minute meditation.
Oh, yeah.
It's just one of those things. As long as you're doing it. One guy came on the podcast once, and he's like, one thing about meditating is people think they have to do this 10-minute, 20-minute, 30-minute thing, but really you can go throughout your day. This was AJ Jane, so shout out to him. He said that you can meditate by using any of your 5 senses. So, just take a minute and just feel the table and feel the texture. And don't think about anything but the texture. Put a sound on and don't think about anything but the sound. Try and smell or look at that painting and focus on the detail and nothing else. And that puts you in the same kind of meditative frequency as if you were on the beach.
I'd literally been doing it for 2 weeks and I felt a lot different.
It's mindfulness, and as a way of practicing your technique for visualization. Was it Power of the Subconscious Mind, where he talks about, or Think and Grow Rich, one of the two. He talks about take a photograph try and memorize the photograph and look at it for 5 minutes a day or 10 minutes a day and recreate those details in your mind. And then you look at it for a few minutes and then you put it away and you try and visualize it and recreate it in your mind for, X amount of time. Then as you get better, that is your practice for visualizing the future. What are the things that you want? How are you going to get there? It's just a technique. And I mean, I think that lines up really well with tapping into your senses.
I'm trying to get comfortable here. This is my first podcast. So I'm
Dude,
watching you guys, and
no,
I'm like, maybe I should sit back a little bit.
It's just
Hey,
however
you
you wanna
should do
flow.
whatever you want to do, man.
Yeah.
This is going excellently. You're dropping hella content.
Like, and just some imagery for what Clint was saying. Like, if I said picture $1 million in your head right now, what are you picturing?
What does $1 million look like? It's funny that you say that because $1 million to me, let me just put you back in my perspective, back to where I came from, like in a business sense. And the leaps and bounds you guys have made as young people is astonishing. $1 million to me, when I was 20 years old, I thought, I wonder if I'll make $1 million in my whole life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like $1 million to me now is like, I don't want to I don't want to sound like a jerk or nothing, but it's not that much money.
Right.
It is a lot of money, but like in today's money, it's not that much money, right?
Yeah.
And when you get to the point where you're moving certain things, like you're not doing $65,000 condos now. Now it's $3.5 million beach houses. $1 million doesn't become $1 million anymore. Now it's like, what's $100 million look like?
Yeah.
How do I get to $100 million instead of $1 million? Right? Does that answer your question?
So the reason I was asking was for visualization. So let me change it to 100 million. If I say picture $100 million in your head right now, create that imagery for me. What are you seeing?
$100 million. Jeez.
Like
Stack
I'm
of
seeing
cash,
someone.
brokerage account.
No,
I'm seeing in
vehicle.
my head. I'm seeing someone hand me a check that has $100 million written on it, or I'm picturing my bank statement with $100 million.
No, to me, it's more of I guess because I'm real estate focused, to me, it's more of like a giant, some sort of giant
Chessboard of
community.
real estate.
Yeah,
Some
it's
type
a-
of property or deal.
It's like a building, a skyscraper in New York or whatever.
Well, the point, yeah, and
That's sick.
That's great because the thing is, like, when people say I'm thinking about this or I'm visualizing this, like the point he was making is you look at this picture and you start to remember vivid detail, and the more vivid detail you can create, the more detailed the imagery you can create in your head of what you're visualizing, the more likely it is to manifest in that manner.
Right. That's weird that we think of it differently. Like you look at it as a check for $100 million. But yours is probably more of an intellectual and like a process of the mind and a process of a business. Where I think $100 million is going to require me to get in a backhoe, and move a bunch of dirt around.
Yeah.
Because that's how I know how to make money. Right. It's not in crypto yet. It's not in, I'm not a stockbroker. I wasn't good at that. I have a stock guy now, but you guys are in a different place. And I like that you see it that way because now you've got a million ways to, like I was saying earlier, there's a million ways to get after it this day and age, right?
You mentioned it earlier. Everything that we've done is built off the backs of mentors, people who've invested in us, hard work, grit, dedication. And you said the same thing earlier. It's all built off the shoulders of giants.
Yeah, one of the things that bothers me is, and I don't want to like put this out there, but I can't stand it when people go self-made.
No such thing.
I mean, I get it, man. Like you came from nothing and here you are, but that doesn't mean you're self-made.
Congrats. Yeah.
Yeah.
Self-made is like, okay, if you really look back at it, and that's why I say like I don't see myself as the person you introduced me as. I'm just Chris, because I know that I would not be sitting here if it weren't for a bazillion other people, right, that have helped me in one way, shape, or form. But whether it was my parents or my wife or a friend or a coach or whatever, like all those little things that happened to me along my life where I screwed up and got back up, and I wasn't successful, but I kept working and kept trying to find opportunities and just like never said no to an opportunity to meet somebody. Those are the things that piled up, and eventually, here I am with you introducing me as like this guy that's so great. I'm like, awesome, that's me.
But Chris seems like a really cool and genuine guy who also lives the lifestyle that so many people dream about.
Yeah, I mean,
Those are more just your results and your accolades. You know, it's like, because what we want to do is we want to, with the beginning of the podcast, that's our opportunity to establish immediate credibility.
There's immediate credibility. This is why people should pay attention. And now here's who you are and how you got here.
Yeah, I mean, I have like I said, I have an interesting story to tell.
Yeah.
When I do tell my story, I'm not going to do it.
I'm fascinated.
I
didn't know all of this. This is great.
There's a lot more to it. It's just, I'm not ready to put it out there yet, but I feel like I'm being called to tell.
It sounds like we're going to have a part 2 then.
Yeah.
Eventually, yeah.
One day you'll see, like, you're going to open the book up and be like, wow, I didn't know that happened. Like, I've been through a lot of stuff. You know, I'm sitting here in a nice suit, and you know, I'm in a pretty good place in life. I've got a great family now.
You're invested in Streaming Global. You sponsor Hustle Up.
I do a lot of things, and these are all like only because I've met other great people, right? So but that doesn't. I don't know, man. There's a lot more to it, and
Well, let's talk about this.
I want to know how you two got introduced. And you have a cool story about how he came in and invested.
I'll let you tell it. I mean, from your perspective.
That's fine. You know what? I had just again, like, never
mention the whole motorcycle thing. Like, let's run it back.
So strangely, like, while I was transitioning out of dry cleaning into what I do now, which is I'm the firm. Well, first of all, let me clarify something. I don't own a law firm. I don't want that to get out that I own a law firm.
Non-attorney spokesperson.
Yeah, you cannot own a law firm unless you're an attorney. So
okay, you don't own the law firm.
I'm the firm director.
Okay.
And yeah, I have a nice salary, and I do work. My wife is the boss, but I do not own a law firm.
Okay.
But so while we were transitioning during our, my wife's first pregnancy with our son Woods, I had gone to a barbecue place in Roswell, and I was sitting there eating barbecue one night, and like, the manager is this big dude. His name's Cody. I'm still friends with Cody. Mm-hmm. Him and his wife working there. And he just sits down and starts chatting with me. And I notice he's got some motorcycles in the back of his truck or something. And we just start talking about motorcycles. I'm like, oh, that's cool. And he's like, yeah, man, sometimes I buy and sell motorcycles. I was like, tell me more. I was like, that sounds like fun. It's like, can I do that with you, right? Like, that sounds cool. Like, I think I don't ride motorcycles, but I would love to be. It sounds like something fun, something to talk about,
I might learn it now.
Excuse me. So anyway, he and I had tried to venture off into a motorcycle business and spent some time and energy, him and I both, on getting motorcycles together and getting a license for the motorcycles. I bought a building to put the motorcycle business in, and he was going to run this motorcycle business. Well, we ended up getting all of our motorcycles stolen. I'm not even kidding.
After you started the business.
Yeah. Well, I was working towards getting the license in place, and one day I went to the storage place where all the motorcycles were, which is
how many?
So it was probably 16.
Yeah.
All $3 or $4 grand a piece, which is basically my entire investment in the company.
Yeah.
So they had I went over across the street and looked at the building, and I was like, why is the back door open? And it didn't even register to me. Like, I don't think like that. I don't think I just got robbed.
Yeah.
Right. Like, that doesn't cross my. I'm not fast on the uptake when it comes to people taking advantage of me. So I was just kind of like, this is weird. The back door is looks like it's broken. Mm-hmm. They had bashed the door in, and I walked in. I was like, there's no motorcycles here. What happened to I was like, he must have moved all the motorcycles somewhere. And I didn't put two and two together, and then I started realizing, you know what? Somebody came in last night, they broke this door out, and they stole all the motorcycles.
Oh, man.
They stole every bit of my motorcycles and Cody's motorcycles, and that was the end of the motorcycle business. I was like, well, I can't do that again.
Insurance, what?
Well, no, they weren't insured because you have to have a special policy for insurance on motorcycles in a business. It's a blanket policy. You have to have a dealer insurance something. Anyway, I was working on all that, but I hadn't got it in place. So none of it counted. And, we called the cops, wrote the reports up. Nothing ever came of it. Nobody saw anything. Nobody knows anything. Just 16 motorcycles driving on the street, gone. Mm. So anyway, I was just like, well, that stinks. So that stung. That stung, and it stinks a little bit. And one day Cody called me, and he was like, hey, man, there's an opportunity here. If you're interested in doing it, the timing's not right for me. But I got a friend that is looking for investors in a company. I was like, okay. I was like, sure, I'll take the meeting. Whatever. That sounds like an idea. I'll go. I don't understand what it is, but I'll go listen to what they have to say. Mm-hmm. And then I showed up, and he was there, and Zanir and Richard, And
Foz set the meeting
yeah,
up.
Foz has set the meeting up, and obviously I know who Foz is because I listen to their music.
Is this Cody?
No. I don't know. I don't even know this Cody.
Okay.
But shout out Foz from Rehab.
Yeah, Foz from Rehab. So I was like, oh shit,
The band Rehab.
I'm gonna go meet Foz from Rehab. I'm gonna meet Foz from Rehab because I like Rehab. So like, I'll go up there and hang out with these guys. And anyway, showed up there and listened to what they had to say, and I was like, well, I don't understand it. If you're right, this is gonna make a lot of money. Like, so I basically invested on that, and I like Jonathan. I like the way he pitched the company. I looked up Richard, saw who Richard was. I was like, shit, Richard's smart. This guy brought
Heck of a team.
This guy helped bring Microsoft to the market. Like, I don't know what these kids are doing at Kennesaw. Like, how the hell does a kid from Kennesaw come up with this idea to disrupt the market like this? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't understand it. I guess you don't have to understand it.
They put something in the water at KSU. They are breeding entrepreneurs.
Yeah, it's crazy,
intense.
right? So I literally sat there and I was like, okay. And I had brought a bunch of people with me. I think I brought a bunch of people with me that time, didn't I?
You brought 2 people with you that time. You came back with like 4 or 5 people.
Yeah, so I had brought some people, and they were all like, oh, we got to think about it. It's hard to sit down and like talk to a company that hasn't made any money yet and be like, this is a good idea. Here's some money, right? But I felt really strong about Jonathan, man. I was like, there's something about this guy. There's something about Zanier, and there's definitely something about Richard. Even though everything they talk about is over my head. Like, I don't understand any of it, but I do understand if what they're telling me is true, this is going to be a good idea. Yeah. So at any rate, I called him up and I was like, hey, I think I can like scrape up some money. And I'd saved up some of my money, like in a shoebox or whatever. I kept a little money laying around in a shoebox, and I was like, I'm going to come sign the contracts. So they're like, okay. So I drove over there and I was like, okay, is it cool if I bring some money? And they're like, yeah, sure, whatever. So I came and I like opened my backpack out and I dumped like cash. I dumped like stacks of cash, like bricks of cash.
Full.
I was like, I'm buying in.
Let's go.
It was sick. It was the first day I ever sat in a Lamborghini too, so that was.
Yeah, I drove my Lamborghini.
So how did you deal with the IRS reporting of investing stacks of cash?
Well, it wasn't stacks of cash. We're not talking about millions of dollars. Okay. Like this is money that you could have at your house. Okay. It wasn't, and it was all taxed anyway. It was my money.
Yeah.
I didn't like get it illegally. So, I mean, it's okay to own cash.
Cool.
Yeah.
It's not a good idea to have it like all in your house, but.
Yeah, no, that was big. That was cool because you came in off a whim and the universe just had it. And now we're here 3 years later. You've bought in more. We've got a bunch of other things in place. It was a catalyst for a lot more.
Like the things that like have happened.
Streaming global's blown up in the last 3.5 years.
I can't wait I always tell, when I always introduce him, I'm like, this is my billionaire friend, Jonathan Hesse. He's one of the co-founders of Streaming Global, like super smart guy. Like, again, I stumble into the best. Sometimes, like, I can't get out of my own way. The biggest, like, destruction to myself is me over my lifetime, right? I've only done damage to myself. Like, I haven't physically laid my hands on people. I haven't stolen from anyone. But all my damage is self-inflicted, right? Like, with dumb decisions, like not thinking things through or being impulsive or, partying too much or what have you when I was younger. But I still continue to get put in positions to meet people that are really good for me, right? Again, like I told you when I started this, I don't look at me as the generator of my success. Like, it's the people that I've met and just the situations I've found myself in, I've capitalized on it, right? Like, I tell people when they get married, I had a marriage that didn't work out, right? I didn't marry the right person. It has nothing to do with her. It was more a me problem at the time, right? But when you meet the right person in a marriage, I don't know how many other people have what I have with my wife, but like you said, we are a power couple now. Yeah. And it's not because of Chris Lowe, and it's not because of her, even though it is, and it is because of me and her. It's because of us together, right? When we came together, it just started something, and it's just kind of been a catalyst. Like,
absolutely,
without her, I wouldn't be where I'm at, and I'd like to think that she probably wouldn't be where she's achieved at if it wasn't for me. So,
yeah, it's that energy. No, I feel that each person has their own energy, but when you combine the right kind of feminine and masculine energy, it just amplifies.
Yeah, you gotta have that. You gotta be both pulling in the right direction. Like, we don't when we first met, we always said we don't have anything in common but each other.
Yeah.
Right. Like she doesn't like sports. I was an athlete. You know, she's 100% Vietnamese. I don't speak a lick of Vietnamese. You know, completely different cultures.
Have you learned any now?
No, I can say I love you. I can say I love you, but like,
There you go. That's a good one to know.
I love her family. I love the culture. I love the food. You know, it took a little while to get used to the way things like it's different, right? When you're raised where I was raised and the race she's raised, when you mix those two together, you know, it's a beautiful thing, but it's also a little bit of an adjustment,
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
I mean, they don't even they could eat pho 5 times a day.
So could I.
I could.
And I like it too, but maybe not 5 times a day. Like,
Yeah, for
you know,
sure.
they talk different than we do about certain stuff. They interact with their kids a little different. They interact with each other a little different. It's not wrong. It's not right. It's just different.
Yeah.
Right. So you got to get used to all those things. But I always tell people, like, you have to find like that person that compliments you and you guys pull in the right direction. There's really nothing you can't do. You know, she wasn't where she is now when I met her. She was successful. She was on her way. She had the mind for it, right? She was already owning a bunch of real estate in New Orleans that she had bought after the hurricane, that she picked it up for, like, you know, the taxes that were owed on it.
Mm-hmm.
And now those are generating a lot of money for her family, which she gives to her family.
Yeah.
So, you know, she was on her way, but the catalyst between she and I, with like my ability to like make friends with people and do stuff,
Build relationships.
and build some relationships, really was the catalyst. So I always tell people that you know, don't date somebody just because you think they're pretty or whatever. Like, that's great, but and I think my wife is very pretty. I love my wife. Very attracted to my wife, but she brings so much more to the table. And
That's like one of many things.
Yeah, and she and I together are just like, you know, it's something I could never replace, obviously, ever.
That's awesome.
And I wish I could like teach that to people. I
Well,
wish
this
I
is a
could
good
teach
start.
them younger than, you know, 40, what we met when I was like, what, 35, 36, whatever, 37. Like, obviously I wouldn't trade that. I wouldn't want to go backwards in time and know what I know now because I wouldn't have my family. But if I could give that knowledge to people now and be like, hey, you know, stop looking for this in a person and start looking for this in a person, right? Don't worry about, you know, how tall they are, or, you know, what their eyes look like, or that stuff. That's great. That's all physical stuff. But what are they bringing to the table? What are their interests? Like, do they have goals? Do they have any vision? Do they have any? What are they going to help you do?
Yeah.
Right? Like, my wife is an attorney making a lot of money. She's a good attorney before a low law firm. We're Friday night, 10 o'clock. She's on her hands and knees scrubbing grout.
That's what's up. That's
Saturday night, on her hands and knees scrubbing grout, painting houses. You know, we're at Floor and Decor picking up.
Yo,
picking
shout
up
out
tile.
Milo, bro.
Yeah, no, like, you know, those are the things that you want in a relationship. You got to have that person that's not just going to stand there and watch you do stuff, or vice versa. You can't be the person standing there watching them do stuff.
For sure.
Right? A lot of times it's the woman that's dragging the man along, right?
Yeah.
Get up off your butt, do something. Whatever your thing is, like, again,
Be productive.
mine is to finish, right? Mine is to finish and get it to the finish line. Hers is to find it, to design it, to put it together, you know.
It's perfectly complimentary.
Right. And then when we hit that wall where it's like, well, this isn't done and we're trying to sell this thing next week, then I show up and I just like knock the wall down and I fix it, whatever's wrong with it, right? And
Yeah.
the same thing for the law firm, you know, when we hit a wall with something, I'm the one that usually will come in and like shove it forward and get it done. But I don't know, I guess I'm the closer or what have you.
Well, so you guys close and you work well together and you work a lot, but you also have kids, right?
2.
How do you make time for the kids?
Well, they travel everywhere with us. So she works a ton. I work a ton. We work weird schedules. I'm an early bird. She doesn't get up early. She likes to work late. I go home early, go to bed. So really, we kind of intersect with our children at night. And this is where, you know, our parenting is very, very, very different, right?
Mm.
Most of our kids go to our kids, but most of my friends' kids go to bed at like 8 o'clock. My kids might be up at midnight
Oh, wow.
because that's when they have time with their mom.
Yeah.
Right. And their dad and mom don't show up till 8 o'clock. We eat dinner, we hang out. So that's that. Now Woods has just turned 5. Fallon is about to turn 3. So they've been very in their mom stage, right? So we try to take them everywhere we go. So if we go out of the country, they go with us. You know, Woods went to Europe when he was 5 months old. You know, Fallon's been to Mexico. Fallon's been like they both have passports.
How
you
old
know?
is she?
She's almost 3. She's 3 this Saturday.
Nice.
So I try to spend as much time with him as I can.
And Woods is how old now?
He just turned 5. Cool. So he's just now getting to the age where I can like do stuff, like physical stuff with him, like sports.
Have him help you knock down walls.
Have him help me do stuff. But he's into cars and into tools, and he's into building things, and he's smart, and he's funny, and like his personality is starting to show. So we try to spend as much time as we can, but there's a definite, regret with how much we do work, but it's all for them.
Yeah.
I'm not saying the kids don't have to work. That's not what we want, but we're trying to put something together that will propel them. Like if we get to if we went from level 0 to level 5, maybe we can hand this off to Woods and Fallon at like a 7, and then hopefully they're smart and they can go, they can take it to a 10, right?
Yeah.
And then, my wife is at the top of her food chain and her family. So they all kind of look to her for guidance. She's the most successful by a lot. She's constantly helping other family members out with stuff, anything, advice, legal stuff, financial stuff, just stuff like that. So she's got a lot on her plate, but she's always been that. She's always going to be that. And, luckily I'm right there with her. So.
Absolutely. Well, hey, some people call you Chris. Your Lamborghini car group calls you Chris. Let's see.
My son calls me Agent Payne.
Some people call you Dad, and some people call you Agent Payne. Who's Agent Payne?
So Agent Payne is basically when we started the Lowe law firm, and I couldn't run around telling people I owned a law firm. I became the non-attorney spokesperson. My wife, while she's a brilliant lawyer, does not like to be in front of the camera. She doesn't want to be center of attention. I don't mind it. So, she, even though she would come and do something like this, is not like her cup of tea, right? My wife is really good at making a lot of money for our clients. So she focuses on that. And I was like, all right, well, if I'm going to do marketing, if I'm going to be a non-attorney spokesperson, I was like, maybe I should call myself something, right?
Yeah.
So I think our phone number was 866-PAIN-007. I was like, I'm Payne Agent. She's like, no, you're Agent Payne.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, Agent Payne, that's cool. So I was like, all right, I'm going to buy a suit. So I went and bought a suit with a green tie to match the car, and I became Agent Payne. And now Agent Payne, my kids call me Agent Payne. So they're like, Agent Payne.
Yeah, and he's got a song on YouTube and iTunes.
That's right.
Shout out Dope Jockey.
Yeah, Dope Jockey, man. Another person that just like randomly showed up in my life.
Yeah.
So
incredibly accomplished music producer and engineer.
Yeah, so 866-PAIN-007. Check it out on iTunes. It's a song about a law firm. Granted, it is what it is. It's not, it's not about.
And you do the second verse. The second verse is you.
Yeah, I do the second verse. Real quick story on that. It's kind of funny. I take my car places and let people use it for stuff, right? Like if I see you out and you want to sit in my car, you can sit in my car. Take pictures with it, whatever. Right?
We had Colin took a ride after the Hustle Up event.
Yeah, so I remember what it was like when I would see people with nice cars, and I'd be afraid to like chat them up about the car. I didn't want to touch their car because I was afraid they'd get mad at me. I just didn't want to be that guy. So I'd take my car oftentimes and let people use it for various things, and like photo shoots or music videos. And I had gone to a music video for some other guy. And Dope Jockey was there, and he was like, hey, can we borrow your car for a minute? I was like, sure. I'm waiting on these guys. So he shot a video. I didn't even think anything about it, right? Didn't think two things about it. I handed out some business cards and just chatting people up while I was there. And, later on, I don't know how long went by, but he calls me out of the blue. He's like, hey, I met you at this thing. I've been thinking about you. I was at the barber the other day, and I heard this really bad song about law firms. On the radio, it was a commercial, and I hated it. I thought about you. I want to write you a song. I was like, all right, how much is that going to cost? I was like, okay, what's his angle here, right? He's going to hit me up for some amount of money to go do this. And he's like, I don't want you to pay me. He's like, I'm going to write you a song, and if you fuck with it, you fuck with it. If you don't, you don't.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, all right, well, this isn't going to be very good if he's not going to ask to get paid.
Yeah.
So, literally the next morning, he sends me over a file. And I'm like, oh man, do I even want to? I was like nervous. I didn't want to push play because I didn't want to tell the guy the song was bad, right?
Yeah.
I don't like delivering bad news. And I play guitar. I like music. I know good music when I hear it.
Yeah.
I was like, this guy's like spent some time doing this. I'm going to have to tell him I hate this, and I'm not going to use it for anything.
Especially when it's on the free ski. Yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't know him. I didn't know who he was. I was like, all right, fine, push play. I'm like, this isn't even the song that's on iTunes. This is a different song.
Okay.
So I hit it, and he starts in with the words. I'm like, okay, I'm feeling this. I'm feeling this beat. I start listening to what he's saying. He's like, wow, he's actually talking about the law firm.
Yeah.
He's actually talking about me. He's talking about he's talking about what we do. He's integrating like legal terms.
Did a little bit of research, yeah.
Yeah, he did. And I was like, I hung the phone up. I was like, I went to Maya's office. I went, listen to this. I said, listen to this. And she's like, what is it? I said, just push play. And she pushed play. And like, you kind of, she was just kind of like looking at me like, okay, this is cool. And then when he hits it, he's a very good lyricist, like really good lyricist. He starts it on the words, and she kind of like her ears perk up, and she's like, "Oh, he's talking about us, right?" So I literally call him up. I'm like, "Hey, man, you come to the law firm. You got to come meet my wife, right?" So he like comes over, and he's, he doesn't want to go in because his hair is messed up. I'm like, "Bro, come on, come inside, meet my wife. You got to come meet Attorney Lowe." Like, you wrote this song. I want you to go in here, and I want to make a whole song of it. It was like a verse, right? It was like a verse and a hook. And I was like, I said, you have to finish the song, man. You have to finish the song. So he finished that song, and I was like, I need a banger, man. I need something that people are going to want to listen to in their car. He's like, I got you. So then he wrote 866 Pain 007, which is our phone number. I can't believe that he got it into the song. But if you ever listen to it, it's perfect.
Yeah.
So now he and I have like become good friends, and we work on stuff. And if I had more time to do music with him, I would. But he's got his own studio now, and he's helping produce stuff. And but just another weird, like, crazy way you meet people, right?
Just building relationships, never know where they'll lead.
And the aspect of not being afraid to meet new people and take risks, and then watching, some of them don't pan out, some of them end up like that.
I like this because this has duality, because we had a fellow come on the podcast recently, and we had one also in our first season that came on and said he won't take a meeting unless the person on the opposite side of the meeting has stated their intention for the meeting. Yeah, clearly say their intention, and he's like, okay, that fits my criteria for what I want to meet with right now. And that, like, there's no right or wrong, but this shows that alternative way of meet with anybody because you're the relationship guy, how that could pay off.
Well, in his defense, I don't know what he does for a living. I mean, if the guy's building, if he's into manufacturing of a bazillion items at one time, then he probably doesn't need to take a meeting with anybody. We're personal injury and real estate. I've gotten real estate deals from friends, from just people that have found out what we're doing, and walking down the street. Hey, what are you doing? Oh, I'm renovating over there. 2 weeks later, oh, hey, my mom's in a bad way. Her condo's for sale. Do you guys want to buy it or whatever? Same thing. I just met this gentleman here. I don't know who he knows is going to get in a car wreck tomorrow. Hopefully nobody. But if they do, call me.
Yeah.
So
Heather behind the front desk got in a car wreck. So first person I thought of.
For me, I don't know what that gentleman's like, what he's doing, but I could see where that could be if you're a certain type of business person, you're dealing with certain levels of stuff, maybe he doesn't have time for that. I have time to talk to anybody.
Yeah.
Because I want you just to remember me, right? Mm-hmm. And if you remember me when you need me the most, at your worst, then hopefully I answer my phone and I can help take care of you, right? So that's why I always take a meeting with every people.
I love it. Heather got hit in rear-ended by a cop, and I called Jonathan immediately. I said, "Dude, what's Agent Payne's number?"
And specifically Agent Payne.
I hang up the phone with Jonathan, and Chris Lowe calls my phone. Agent Payne calls my phone like a minute and a half before I'd even had time to call him. It happened so quickly and so well. It went perfectly.
Yeah,
very professional.
That's what I'm doing, right? That's why I'm here. I'm here as Agent Payne, but I'm also here as Chris Lowe. There's two different sides of that. But business-wise, always take the meeting. You never know. And again, like, maybe you could just help somebody.
That's something we've come back to over and over again.
If I have to spend 15 minutes with you and I don't get anything, but maybe you get something out of it, then that's totally worth my time.
Some meetings will be a bust, and you should take the meeting on principle or figure out how. Yeah. I
mean, I've met so many people just randomly that have done like cool stuff for me, like for no reason. Just like I played at great golf courses. I love to play golf. So, You know, I get invited to go play golf with people just randomly for no particular reason. That's probably not important to anybody but me.
Yeah.
But again, you know, if you don't take the time to like go chat people up, and one of the things I loved about like what you guys are doing is there's always a stigma and a barrier to being the person that like speaks out at places, right? Who here likes this? You know, who here? I want you guys. Have you guys met anybody here yet today? No, I'm sitting here like dwelling on my own. Like, what am I doing? What do I say to people? Like, what you guys did at your Hustle Up live event was so cool.
I can't take credit for that.
I
That was
loved
him
it.
and Jacques. They came up with that
I
idea.
loved it though, but like it wasn't the traditional like get up and shake hands with people. It wasn't like a rah rah. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like I don't like
It was intentional.
I don't
yeah.
like rah rah stuff, like fake rah rah. Like,
Yeah.
but it was not fake rah rah. Like people were genuinely interested in what you guys were saying and doing. Like, get up and go meet somebody. You could meet somebody that's going to make you $1 million. What?
Yeah.
Right. Go shake hands with somebody you haven't met.
We
right?
say this every time. I don't know what's going to happen when you put a bunch of young, motivated hustlers in a room together, but I can tell you what has happened. Business partnerships have formed. People get new jobs, new raises, new partnerships, new deals. When you put yourself in that type of environment and get those speakers, Zach Zellner, when we did his podcast,
He was
he
amazing.
and I both left with this feeling of like, we were motivated, we were inspired, we were like, that guy's cool. I feel it now. You're hyped up. I said, let's put 150 people in a room together and reproduce that feeling in others, because the motivation fades, but the action leads generally to something bigger, something larger, something cool. And if we can host an event that leads to the founding of a new company that drives change forward or helps somebody, that's a purpose-driven mission right there. That's fulfillment.
Yeah, I mean, I've been trying to get to like one of the live events, and I just haven't been able to for various reasons. But I was super impressed. It's like I told both of you guys, like I feel like you got to go bigger.
Yeah.
I feel like
Oh,
what you're
yeah.
doing is going to get on a level where you're going to have
Sky's
to
the
fill,
limit, man.
You have to fill like not a room full of people, but like a stadium full of people.
Well, man, I'll tell you this: every time we do a new season, and this is being filmed before the first episode of season 3 airs, so we're getting ready for season.
We
3.
drop on Wednesday.
Yeah, we drop our first episode on Wednesday, and every time we start a new season, we've leveled up in life, and the season corresponds to where we're at in our life. So the conversations are hotter, the events are bigger. You know,
We're meeting new people. We're establishing new relationships with new venues and new speakers. And we want to introduce those people to our network and to the world. And some of them, already know the world. But as a large part, the event started because we're interviewing cool guests and we want to get them to know each other.
And where this could go is like literally, not to like bring back Jonathan and I's relationship here, but like since I've met him, he and I are spawning off different ideas. In addition to that, I'm like things I would never think of. Like you asked me what does $1 million look like, and I kind of gave you like, you said it was a check. Well, now maybe I can see that as a check too, instead of like a giant real estate project, right?
yeah,
Because I'm diversifying the way I think. And I keep coming back to this, guys. You guys are light years ahead of the thought process. Like you're beyond me now. I'm 44.
Stop
I'm
it.
serious. I'm serious, but the things I'm seeing from your generation is impressive because your thought processes have changed, and it's going to continue to happen. I think there's going to be younger and younger, more successful people in their younger ages because instead of doing the things that I did, even though they were like healthy, like climbing trees and like whatever, that young people are going to be like thinking about making money and what business can I open up when I'm 16. What business can I be doing when I'm 20? What can I be doing? Well, I mean, I'm not saying you have to go to college to be successful.
Publix and Chick-fil-A won't hire you till you're 15 or 16, but you can start YouTubing when you're in middle school.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many things now. The gates are wide open. You don't have to be, like I told you, like I only saw my direction in life. I didn't think doctor, lawyer. I didn't think real estate investor. I certainly didn't think like, NFT buyer. I didn't think of like, co-creator of buddy cards. I didn't think any of that stuff was possible for me. I thought it was go get a job, work your ass off for 4 years, maybe you retire, and again, my thought process was always, I wonder if I'll make $1 million in my lifetime. And again, I'm not trying to like put my business out there too much, but like $1 million to me is obtainable in a very short period of time if I do the right stuff, make good decisions, meet the right people. utilize those people to help me and help them too. So,
Well,
Symbiotic.
$1 million can anybody visualize a NFT?
oh yeah.
Is this the right time?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
So
NFT.
on top, for everyone listening, so on top of everything Chris does, him and I are working on a science project called Buddy Cards, which is in the NFT space. I just wanted to say that so we have a staple. So when we film episode 2 in a year, we
That's
can be
right.
like, we had it at this time.
Remember Buddy Cards.
Remember Buddy Cards. It'll be out soon. But in the meantime,
You
Agent
invest
Payne,
in all kinds of things.
all kinds of things.
All kinds
Yeah.
of things.
Crypto.
I've actually bought all of his Buddy Cards, and that's not gonna mean anything to anybody yet. But when you get it, you get it. Like I already own all of his, so if you want one, you have to come to me to get it.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna buy all yours too.
And so
Yeah.
you've bought a bunch of other NFTs as well. I know one of the ones is Greg Mike, and
Yep.
Greg Mike is an Atlanta artist. Loudmouth is his thing. We'll throw his link up in the description, but he's a prominent Atlanta artist and was one of the first to do it big on.
Is this a Larry Loudmouth?
No.
No, it's not. No, it's not. It's
No.
a Mad Can series.
Sick.
And the way these NFT styles, an NFT is a non-fungible token. It's essentially a piece of art that's on the blockchain. So imagine a digital Mona Lisa that has a ledger. And so Clint could post this Mona Lisa NFT, but it wouldn't be the same as if the Louvre, the museum in Paris that has the Mona Lisa, if they posted it, because it's on the blockchain, it carries a ledger.
It's authentic.
So it authenticates.
authenticated.
Exactly. So it's called a 1-for-1 digital piece of art. It's truly incredible, and Agent Payne has a great story to tell about a Greg Mike piece he won in
That's
a very
right.
small chance opportunity.
So Katie and Jonathan are like talking to me about NFTs. They're like, you should check out this Greg Mike thing. I'm like, who the heck is Greg Mike? So I start looking up Greg Mike, and
He's sick.
I see all of his artwork. I'm like, wow, this stuff's cool. I'm like, okay, what is this? They're like, okay, well, on this platform here, you can buy an NFT. I'm like, don't know what that is. Of course, they try to explain it to me. It's like over my head. I'm like, whatever. Let's do one. Let's see what happens, right?
This was 3 months ago, 2 months.
Yeah, at least. So I log in and I'm like, okay, so this is, first of all, it's a drawing, right? And I don't ever win anything like a drawing. Like I don't win like, if you put your name in a hat, it's never going to come out my name. If you put me in with 20 people, me 20 times and then one, you're going to pick one of the other people every time. That's just, I don't care. I'm blessed in life. I'm not worried about stuff like that. I don't have to win the lottery. I don't need to win VCRs and stuff like that. But I just wasn't planning on like winning. I was like, oh,
VCR.
My mom won a VCR once.
Okay.
I don't know why that popped in my head, but it did. But so I was like, oh, this is a long shot. Like there's a drawing for 30 of these. There's 10 different versions of it. There's 30 apiece. You can enter the drawing. There's like 3,000 people in one drawing for 30. I was like, I'm not going to win this, but whatever. And then she's like, Hess is like, no, hey, Katie, put this on the board. Chris is going to win the drawing and there's 10 of them, right? There's 10 different versions of these Mad Cans. And I wanted one specific one, like version 9 or whatever it was. Mm-hmm. And I was like, there's zero chance, even if I do win, I'm going to get the one I want. Because it has like the Batman face on it, and among other things. I was like, I want that one. So Katie puts it up on the vision board. Chris wins Mad Cans number 9 or whatever it is. And the auction goes off, and I'm eating dinner. I'm eating dinner with my family. I'm just like not even paying attention to my phone, like blings or whatever. I'm like flip through it, scroll to my emails. I got an email from Nifty Gateway, and it's like, congratulations, you won Mad Cans number 9.
The one you wanted.
I called him up. I was like, I was screaming on the phone.
It was amazing.
I was screaming. I was like, we won. I was like, we're going to hang this in your office.
30 people got picked out of 3,000 entries.
Right. But there was 10 different cans, so multiply that by 10.
Yeah.
But there's only 300 cans
out of 30,000 entries.
Right. And it could have been one of those. Even if I was lucky enough to win, I got the one that we like manifested to happen. So I was like, maybe this works. With that being said, do you guys want to see it?
Yeah. So Agent Payne just got. It came with a hardware piece. Shout out Infinite
Objects.
Infinite Objects. They make these small LED screens that contain NFTs. I've never seen one in person.
We're about to open it. I've got it from the fact. I bought all 10 cans.
This is about to go viral.
Yeah. So we're doing a Greg Mike NFT Mad Can Series number 9 unboxing live right now on the podcast.
And I've actually bought all of the series. I have one of each. So I get
In the resale market.
in the resale market.
But this was the
This was on the-
iconically
this-
special one.
This was the iconically special one, but at some point in time, you'll be able to see all 10
Yeah.
in person.
Love it. Looking forward to it.
So this
you'll
might
still
be
it.
one of the first videos ever of an NFT by Greg Mike unboxed.
Do you have it?
Who, until you know who he is, you don't
So
realize that
cool.
you see his art
Gee,
all
you see
over
the
the
box?
city.
I think it's out there in the lobby.
Okay.
Here, I'll grab it.
All right. So Greg Mike, that's cool. You own some other NFTs as well. While we grab the box, I guess we talk about buddy cards.
could talk about buddy cards.
So buddy cards is a concept that him and I are working on. It's really in the science project stage right now. It's essentially a decentralized Facebook. If Facebook is a school yearbook, buddy cards are like a business card or a rookie card,
Yeah.
a baseball card. But the difference is this card has two functions. One, it's a store of value. So, you bought my cards because you expect me to maximize my potential in life. And as I do that, the value of the card increases. But the actual NFT isn't a piece of art, it's a key. And this key opens up a portal of exclusive content, exclusive access, and a whole bunch of exclusivity. And it looks like the Greg Mike NFT is back. So we'll get that going, but you guys be on the lookout for buddy cards.
Buddy cards is coming soon.
Coming soon, dude. This is super exciting. I've never. We'll use a key.
Yeah, we're gonna have to have something. You guys have a razor blade? This is a roofing company somewhere.
Yeah, someone go. You'll find. Yeah, right.
some
Shout
tools
out
here.
Storm Roof Systems. We are. They're sponsoring the studio. That's Clint's company.
That's right.
If you guys need your roof done.
Another small just thing about connections and hustle up is Clint and I obviously have a reason to chat. So I'm into real estate, and so is he, and he's into fixing real estate. So
Yep.
I have a need. He has something I need, which is I wouldn't know him if it wasn't for hustle up.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What was that, a pizza
Speaking
cup?
of Clint, do we know where he went?
Yeah, he's coming back.
Okay.
All right. So we'll wait for Clint to get here because I'm sure he'll want to see this.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it actually came in a box here. It says Greg Mike Studios. This is the
Can
local
we get a zoom in on
Atlanta
that?
address.
Can we get a zoom in on something? Can you bring the camera up?
It has my phone number and
I'll
my
bring
name.
the box up. Hold on. Okay, say an authentic Greg Mike. Say
That's
it.
right. This is authentic Greg Mike. It says so on the box.
You got a knife?
Yep.
I bet you do.
That's what I brought it for.
All right, let's cut this thing open, Clint. You want
All
to do
right,
it?
this
Be
is
careful now.
this
There's
is an
something in
unboxing
here.
of Mad Cans number 9, Greg Mike's first NFT drop. The first time we've seen an infinite mirror or infinite object
And this
display.
is cool, I think, because it comes with the object, right?
Yeah.
Now, I got the Fuocious shoe being that I got too that they're doing.
Yes, the ferocious. Yeah.
Yep.
This is interesting. I've seen and heard a lot of talk. Let's get that final one.
I don't know what's in here, so be
This is
careful.
a Mad Can Series 9 Greg Mike NFT hardware piece.
This is one of 10 different versions. So let's see what's in here. I recognize the face on that thing. This is the loudmouth,
Larry Loudmouth,
right?
right?
Okay.
So get this open.
Oh, yeah.
If you guys are listening to audio, we'll clip this, but I highly encourage you to
There's
check this
definitely
out.
some crinkles.
Yep. Get this box out of the way.
All right. So now that we've got it out of the packaging, this is what you can see. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it comes in a really cool white box here. It's got the Larry Loudmouth, which is Greg Mike's thing.
Can you take a photo?
And I'm gonna let Hess open this.
You're gonna let me open it. No, you bought it. This is yours.
This is actually gets to hang. This is gonna hang in his office. I told him this. I said if we win this thing, I said if we win this thing, when Streaming Global hits, and you can hang, you and I will split time with this Greg Mike piece. This is when I was only gonna get one. So I'm gonna let you open it since
shit.
it's gonna hang in your office.
I'm humbled. Thank you.
And,
Shout out Greg Mike. Shout
Check
out
this
Agent
out.
Payne.
This is a really nice box.
This is
first and
authentic.
foremost.
This is
So,
man.
all right, buddy.
Yeah.
Get after it.
Let's go. Let's see.
I don't even know how to open it. Okay.
Oh man. The future is now, as it says right there.
That's
Couldn't
right.
agree more. The packaging is beautiful. Let's see. Is
There's
this
two
just a
boxes
box?
in here.
Okay. Oh my god.
Don't drop it.
We gotta plug it in, right?
Infinite Objects, you
Do we
don't?
need a plug?
No.
No.
Infinite Objects is the company that makes the hardware for NFTs.
Look at the nice boxes that comes in.
Yeah,
too.
this packaging is what's in.
I have no idea.
Oh wow! So we'll start here first because this is not the NFT. So it looks like it comes with a Larry Loudmouth
That's
crystal.
lit.
That's cool.
This is sick. I didn't even know it came with this.
You can take it out if you want.
I'll let you do that. Shout out Greg Mike again.
Let's go.
This is
That's cool. Check it out, man.
amazing. All right. First Greg Mike NFT unboxed on a podcast. Mad Can Series number 9.
Dope.
Boom. Here we have it.
Hold it up so they can see what it looks like.
Take it out of the box.
Your hands are shaking, man. You
I know, I'm nervous. Here it is.
Yes,
Automatically
sir.
Oh
turns
yeah,
in.
baby.
man.
Check that out.
Greg Mike Mad Can Series
is
number
it.
9.
This is it.
1 of 30 out of 3,000 entries. Agent Payne won this.
Acquired on Nifty Gateway.
That's
Yep.
right.
In a raffle drawing that he manifested the exact series he wanted.
One
Wrote
out
it
of
on a
10.
vision board. We
That's
wrote it
right.
on a vision board. You believed in the power of
Yeah,
manifesting that
dude.
night.
Yeah. I was freaking out.
Said it
man.
out
So
loud,
this-
wrote it down, made it happen.
And then I think you just put it horizontal and it turns off. I don't know how it turns
I
off.
don't even know how
but-
to use it.
Yeah, I don't know how to. This is amazing. On the back we have the
Look at
Greg
Hess's hands.
I do know.
His hands are literally like
I've been
shaking.
waiting forever to see this. This is the Greg Mike authentication, so you know it's a real NFT. It comes
this
with
is so fucking cool.
yeah, it comes
That's
with a
pretty cool,
QR
right?
code right there, so you can scan that QR code and pull up the ledger to make sure that the creator of this was indeed Greg Mike. This is an authentic NFT, Infinite Objects hardware piece. Greg Mike's first NFT.
Y'all just sold me. I've got a Nifty Gateway account. I'm depositing money tonight and entering drawings.
You have to. Well, I don't know if
That's
you
so
can.
cool.
And here's the thing though. I don't know if you can get this anymore.
Not that.
No, but
I
the-
haven't been buying them. And that
Some
just
of
made
the artists,
sense.
some of the artists do the. That's what was interesting to me about this because I didn't quite understand. I still don't quite get the whole
get it
like, why
now.
you want to own an NFT. But this came with this and obviously
that.
this, which I didn't know anything about.
Yeah, I didn't know that was coming in.
So
either.
that's dope.
That's awesome. This is incredible. You know, this is something that you can't get. This is the reason this has value is because you can't get this. Like, you can sell the NFT, but you have this because
Right.
you don't ship the hardware. So that's the importance of understanding how to create value for something because you cannot buy the Mad Can Series number 9 NFT right now and get this hardware with
No,
it.
no.
This hardware was made. You have to buy it at the initial purchase or win the competition or get it for a premium 2 weeks after that in the secondary
You
market.
could now resell this.
You
though.
could resell this, yeah.
Yes, I could resell this and keep the box and keep the infinite object
Yeah.
because the NFT is what was originally sold.
You could, or you could
Package it.
You could
correct.
package the whole
I
thing.
mean, not that I'm ever going to like part with this because this is my first
It's
one.
history.
Yeah, it's history, and you can't really put a price on history.
No,
so
this is sick.
Yeah.
and this is like what led, just the whole like story behind it, like another cool story where we're like we manifested something and it happened, and I don't know what the odds are on that. I'm not a mathematician, but
Not very high.
I'd say they're pretty slim
Yeah.
to get picked out of 3,000 for 30. And
For the one you want.
Yeah, for the one you want, 1 out of 10. And here it is. We just unboxed it here live on the podcast with the Greg Mike. Future is now.
Future is now. Well, guys, this has been amazing. We've touched everything. Chris, you are a technology investor, an NFT collector, a non-attorney spokesperson,
A husband, a father, an entrepreneur,
an entrepreneur,
an entrepreneurial gangster.
A spec house builder.
So, yeah, a real estate
Three-piece
mogul,
suit.
a Lamborghini driver, but above all, you are a genuine, honest person. I've had nothing but high frequency interactions with you. You really care about other people. You're
You
very
get the
trustworthy.
mission done.
Yeah, you get the mission done. You've got all those internal qualities that lead to those external accolades, and you
Thank
really
you.
display that. And it's cool to say what you've accomplished because you've accomplished so much, but it's even cooler to talk about who you are as a person. So I appreciate your friendship,
For real.
genuinely. I appreciate you waiting to unbox this on the show. This is
Hey, listen,
That is a treat.
because I know this means so much to Jonathan, I'm going to let you take this home with you.
no way.
Yeah.
No.
I want you to take this home with you. Please.
Damn, bro.
You get the first displaying of the Greg Mike at your place.
Damn, bro. No, I can't.
Come on, you can do it.
Come give me a hug, man. Dude. Yo.
That is freaking epic.
It's okay because I'm gonna get it insured. So
Damn, so I'm about to cry. All right, we
Yeah.
gotta end the show. Chris, man, you're an amazing dude, bro. You've got so
Appreciate you
much
guys,
going
man.
on
Thank
for
you.
you.
Dude.
I'm so excited to see what you got in your future and honored to be a part of it.
Next time we come on, I want to talk about Suit Game and why I don't have it anymore.
Suit game?
Suit Game.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Turn up.
Yeah, we got a host of things to talk
Hey,
about next
I
time.
will wear a suit. The idea is that nobody can make me wear a
I got
suit.
you.
Yeah,
Right?
but
And when you do want a suit,
And where I wear a suit, it
Tom
looks
James,
fresh.
I got your hook.
absolutely. And for anyone wanting to
Hey,
follow
shout out
you-
your girl.
Yeah, this is Sheila. Sheila at Tom James. She's my tailor. Did a fantastic job on my clothes. You could probably you'll look better in what she puts on you. I promise you.
Absolutely. And everyone can keep up with the journey of Agent Payne on Instagram at 866-PAIN-007. That's at 866-PAIN-007, or just search Agent Payne. Gives back to a lot of people, has great YouTube videos, has great IG, does it all. You're the man. I got nothing more to say.
Whoa.
Quit. Yeah.
Hey, you know where to find us.
Yeah. At HSTLUP.
night.
www.hstlup.com. And until next time, I'm Jonathan.
I'm Clint. Hustle the fuck up.
Hustle.